You're listening to the 212 Roundtable Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Google Podcasts, as well as Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave a review and subscribe. You can also find the Brew Club at 212.beer. That's the number 2, the word 12.beer. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching 212 Brew Club. Now on to the show.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing anything for Halloween.
Well, it's going to be soon.
Your shirt's pretty damn close.
I know.
I was watching last night, I'm like, is that?
This crusty mustache.
Yeah,
I
you
keep
should.
wanting to shave it, then I'm like, I'm gonna leave it.
Forever.
Anyways, welcome to a new episode of the 212 Roundtable. This is our special spooky Halloween episode.
As spooky as we can make it.
As spooky as we can make it the week of Halloween. I am Tony Golick.
And I am Brandon Winninger.
And we have a stupid guest with us today. A stupid guest who is so full of himself, thinks that the episodes are about him. Mark Fetridge. Say
That's
hello.
me, Mark Fetridge, otherwise known as...
The firing guy.
That's right. Who am I?
Clark Fetridge.
Oh,
Welcome back, Clark. Clark was on the New England IPA. The New England IPA episode, right? That's the only episode you've been on?
That's the only one I've been invited to.
That's not true.
That's-
Actually, I've asked you a couple times if you were available.
That's a
and
good
I'm
point.
I've got this going
My
on.
mistake.
I'm so
I mean, it's
busy.
also how many times they're going to repeat a guest. You know, we got to make you special.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's
You are
excited.
a special man.
Well, as I said, Tony mentioned, he spent about 45 minutes of the last episode talking about me, about 5 minutes talking to your wonderful guest, Afro Beer Chick. So I figured I might as well come on.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm glad that's how you dissected that episode. That's what you took away from it. That was about you and our guest.
That's correct.
Lame. Anyway, tonight we're talking about Halloween beers. Insert thunder sound there.
I got my kid crying upstairs.
Oh no, we'll see if that picks it up. And with that, we have a couple of beers. The first beer that we have sitting in front of us is the Almond Joy beer that we talked about in the last episode that Brandon and I brewed. It's a sweet stout. We added almond to it, unsweetened almond. Oh, so stupid. Unsweetened coconut to it. And I had a different method of doing it, which we'll get into in a second. But we also have, it looks like, 4, maybe 5 other beers, but they're single servings here, except for the 2 big guys.
Yeah.
that's right. We've got 2 bigger ones. Boy, that fireplace was really warming up in here. This is nice.
I can turn it down.
No, that's fine. We'll sweat out the alcohol.
How
before
I
we
like
even
my
start.
pumpkin beers.
Sweaty.
Sweaty and warm.
So, I'm gonna throw this out here right away that at least in Chicago, and at least this time of year, normally there is a plethora of pumpkin beers, and for the first time in maybe 6 years or so, 6 or 7 years, there was not a plethora of pumpkin beers. It was almost scarce. Did you guys encounter that?
Yeah, well, because we tried to do an episode a while ago about pumpkin beers, and same thing. Tony went to the store, didn't see anything. I didn't really see anything. I think today I saw like a pumpkin cider, and I was almost like, ooh, but I was like, no, I don't want to do pumpkin cider. But still, like, there's no like, isn't Warlock a pumpkin beer?
Yeah,
Is it?
Warlock.
Like,
Warlock is Southern
I
Tier's
didn't see that
pumpkin
at
stout.
all,
No.
anywhere.
I didn't see pumpkin anywhere either.
Yeah.
You used to see it at the beginning of August.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, I think that's the problem. Is they do this big release and it comes out now, end of July, beginning of August, and that's the only time they release it.
Yeah, nobody wants pumpkin beer. Nobody wants pumpkin beer in July. And also, Goose Island, I just saw, which I almost bought, they just released their Christmas IPA. It is, when we're recording this, it is October 29th. I'm not interested in a Christmas-themed beer just yet. I don't understand why everybody feels such a need, whether it's beer or decorations or whatever, why there's such a need to want to rush into holidays. And I know everybody kind of complains about it, but it really doesn't make any sense to me. Like Oktoberfest beers, sure, I'll start seeing those in August. I'm fine with that because they're still lagers. As we learned, put an episode that we didn't, but we did the Oktoberfest. It's the Dunkelweizen episode I have yet to release.
Ooh.
With special guests. We can't tell you yet. But those, things like that, that's fine, but the pumpkin beers coming out early, I think, is a bad idea. Nobody wants pumpkin beers in August.
Yeah, because it's terrible for people that want to do timely podcasts.
Exactly.
Like,
Thanks a lot.
That's the problem.
No, think about the podcast.
No, and I think that's what drives me nuts, though, is like, it's July, it's like Southern Deer Pumpkin and Warlock, like all this stuff, and it's like, okay, great. And then you'd think it would last through the season, but...
Yeah, there was.
I feel like they're only brewing small... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
okay.
off, but I feel like they're only brewing small batches now and like kind of pushing it out for people to stock up for the season, but it's like... Some people's heads are not in there.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not thinking about pumpkin beers in July or August.
No, soak up the last bit of summer beers while you can.
Yeah, I like that. Soak up the last... No, that sounds like that should be a part of like when summer beers are... You know, when it's August and you're trying to get rid of like... all the summer beers, like, soak up that bit of summer with these beers.
Perfect.
Clark.
it's a good tagline if we ever open up a brewery.
It's good. It'll be like a Sam Adams commercial. Anyway, so we're drinking Almond Joy, which is a sweet stout that we made with a bunch of lactose, a pound of unsweetened 100% Baker's cocoa, and then I took, I don't know, about 8 ounces of unsweetened coconut and soaked it in rum and made a tincture for about 2 weeks. Then dumped all of that into, well, actually I poured it through a cheesecloth so I could squeeze out all of the liquid goodness from the coconut, and then dumped that into the keg and then kegged this bad boy up. What do you guys think of it?
Well, I'm glad I'm drinking it again. I had it at your Halloween party the other night, and I think I like it a lot better having warmed up a tiny bit. I'm getting more of everything now.
Yeah.
Definitely more of the chocolate now, for sure.
Yeah, I felt like I was missing the chocolate, and I had a whole lot of coconut. And actually, I feel like the coconut is starting to like really really open up. Like not suntan lotion coconut,
No.
but
But it's still
coconut.
more, and I said this when I tried it literally right before the party. I tried a little bit of it, and it's that Almond Joy flavor.
Yeah.
Like that same kind of coconut flavor you would get in Almond Joy, you're getting from here. So
Yeah, and
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm almost
it's
glad.
2 times you apologize. I appreciate that.
I'm almost glad. I don't know if I'm glad or not. But we had talked about putting the coconut into a micron filter and then dropping that in.
Oh yeah.
But I'm glad we didn't, because I think it might have just blown this whole thing out.
What would that have changed?
So, did you throw the actual coconut in?
No, all this was just basically the tincture. So what I did was...
You pulled the liquid in.
Yeah, the liquid, which is just basically the rum and the coconut.
Oh, I see.
That was extra.
Yeah, so if we would have done that, we would have thrown the tincture in
Got it.
and put the coconut into a micron filter and then drop that into the keg.
Got it.
And let that sit in there
Yeah.
while we were serving. So that would have just been like... a
We
whole-
might have hit the suntan lotion.
You might have had some floaties in there.
Yeah, actually.
Well, no, not with the...
Well, I mean, a little bit, but I don't think anyone would...
I don't think it would have been...
No,
like,
they wouldn't
it's
have
a-
gotten through that.
I mean, you get a good micron filter. Coconut is... Those shreds would not go through there.
I don't know how good your
True.
micron filter is, man. Okay?
You want to see it? I should.
Yeah, I was really happy. This came out to, I think, 7% was the final gravity... the final ABV on this. And I forget where it started, but this ends at, like, 1.023 because of how much lactose is in there and unfermentable sugars. So that's where we get that body and sweetness. And what I did find out is that I might be slightly lactose intolerant as I was walking around my house that evening talking about how gassy I felt after drinking a whole bunch of this. So I haven't really gone back to this beer since Saturday, so I'm just kind of sipping on this slightly.
Gonna
And
scooch over this way.
if I get gassy, you guys will know. Oh, there we
Shitty
go.
Tony.
The power generator is starting up.
Is that what you call it?
That's the power-up machine that we did find out during the winter months. You can hear when we're this close.
So, Tony, do you like Almond Joy candy?
I'm more of a Mounds guy.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I like both of them. That was the other thing that I thought it was going to, like, this should probably be called Mounds because there's no almond in it.
Right.
At all.
That's the difference.
But I use Maris Otter, and what I read about, I haven't really used Maris Otter before. What I was trying to find was a grain that would impart a nuttier flavor. Oh, and the power generator shut down. A grain that would impart more of a nutty flavor, and Maris Otter, when used in large amounts, does do that. So that's what the base malt for this beer actually was. So, what about, are you an Almond Joy fan?
Not really, actually.
Wow.
But I like this beer a lot. My wife is a huge Almond Joy fan.
Last time you're on the show. Oh. Your wife was also a fan of Brandon Cider with the...
That's right. She had a few of those.
Fireball shot in the
That's
bottom.
right. Glad we came up with that idea.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
That was really good. That was a great idea. Yeah, a dangerous idea.
Well, yeah, because it was a basic cider. Like, so originally the plan was to... I was going to do a tincture of cinnamon in some brown sugar bourbon, and then we were going to drop... I was going to use the micron filter to drop the cinnamon sticks and everything else in. But life happened, and I just completely forgot. So, but I came up with the idea, and we had kind of tossed it around ahead of time. We're like, oh, just throw some Fireball in there. And then, I came over before the party, and we tested it. We did, a half shot, and we're like, it's okay. And then we did a full shot, and we're like, that's a lot better.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so for all you kids out there, by kids I mean anybody 21 and over, if you make a hard cider, or if you have a hard cider and you want to add a cinnamon flavor to it, and you have some Fireball lying around, or if you like Fireball and you just want to mix things up, just take one shot, pour it in your pint glass, and then top it off with a cider, and you get a nice cinnamon cider.
There's got to be a name for that. What do you call it? What do you guys have a name? Nothing?
Cider ball.
Cider ball.
Yeah!
Wow.
Right off the cuff.
I don't know if that seemed like a fake response.
Yeah.
Even more so now.
I really like it, guys.
Okay, that's a little more believable. Thank you.
All right, this podcast is over. Why is this guy here?
Moving along.
So overall, I like this beer. I don't know if I like it more than... Well, we were originally also going to do a Reese's peanut butter cup.
That was my question.
Yeah, we did not do that. So, well,
we
ran
out of time.
Well, no, but so we had talked about.
Jeez, man, just clink that glass a little bit louder.
I'm doing exactly what you do every show.
So,
I'm just trying to add...
Originally, we had talked about... Tony, you got a whole pint glass right there, too. So, originally...
That's for the next beer.
Originally, we had talked about doing the Almond Joy beer, but making it higher ABV. And then we were going to do second runnings and take that and put that into, the Reese's Pieces beer. And, the numbers would have worked out, but the grain bill would have... Basically, you're doubling your grain bill.
We would have had a really big Almond Joy beer.
Yeah, and I think the flavor on this would be, it definitely would be completely different.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot stronger. Because weren't we looking originally at a 10% beer?
Yes. And we ended up, like I said, I think it's between 7 or 8. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fine. It's still, this is better than a 10% beer. So, I mean, I'm not saying better, but it's better to be able to drink this and not be a 10% beer.
Not be done after this.
And I think everybody did a good job on drinking it too. I haven't checked the keg. I normally check my kegs after an event like that, but I haven't, and I'm pretty sure that it is, because also when I went to transfer it, it was only about, actually the ABV might be higher now that I think about it, because when it was done fermenting, we ended up with about maybe 4 gallons because of how much had dropped during, how much droop was at the bottom of the... Because I remember being like, looks like it stopped going.
Yeah.
And just like the Count Chocula beer, there was a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom. And I think a lot of that comes from the baking powder, or not, baker's chocolate. I put baking powder.
The old baking powder. It's like my flour in here.
That's a throwback to the New England IPA episode. If you guys haven't listened to that one, listen to it. We got special guests Clark, Emil, Eric. We're all on there talking about...
What's wrong with your brain?
IPA.
There will be 78 more throwbacks. Listen for all of them.
If you can point them all out, you win a prize, a free sticker. We've got plenty.
Soon to be upgraded.
Yeah, look for the new stickers in 2020. Anyway, so like as Brandon was saying, we're going to do the Partagal and make it a peanut butter beer. But you know what? Now we've got something to look forward to for next year. Next year, I think we can go the route of candy again and do the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And we've got a year now to think about what else is good. A candy corn beer.
With peanuts, though.
No.
Remember?
No.
Yes, which I learned from Ron.
No.
Mixing candy corn and peanuts is like just eating straight up nougat.
negative.
It's so good. Brandon, you're missing out.
We'll brew it.
Yeah.
Negative.
And it'll win awards.
Nope.
Well, I don't know. Old Irving's Swedish fish beer was really good, and that was from the homebrew competition. The Chaos guys.
Is that where that came from?
Yeah, it was so good.
So anyway, so we went through the Almond Joy beer. We did not make a Reese's Pieces beer.
No, we already.
anyways,
we decided
so
we were going to do the candy corn peanut butter.
Well, yeah. So as we were kind of going
not
through
for you.
this and kind of figuring out what we were going to do,
That water is not for you.
why is he drinking vodka?
I don't know. Yeah, that is.
Anyway, so as we were going through kind of figuring this out, like we kind of found some other beers that we want to do in the future.
Oh yes, yeah, and that's a great great segue for future beers, because I think this experiment and last year's cereal experiment kind of gives us I don't know, more confidence in trying those weird beers.
Yeah.
Did you mention on the last? We talked about it so much. I don't know. Did you mention that in the last episode what you wanted to do? No, we just talked with Stephanie about it.
Yeah.
Tell them your idea. 'Cause I think
Yeah,
it's
so
good.
we're going to do, with Fanny's, Fanny's, who has now relocated to 4042.
Who's now reclosed? Oh, no, they've
Well, they closed and reopened to 4042 North Milwaukee Avenue. We're actually going to do...
was our first guest ever.
Fucking Tony. So, you didn't apologize for cutting me off. Anyways.
I apologize for him.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark? So we're going to do, what we want to do is, I got a stout recipe. Actually, so I found a recipe that for somebody that threw in like 12 cinnamon rolls. And
Into the mash, right?
yeah, right into the mash. And I was like, okay, whatever. But it's a decent base recipe for a stout. So I think we're going to try to replicate that. And then we're going to contact our friend at Fanny's.
I know the bakers; they're our friends.
Yeah, and have them make. We're gonna get 12 cinnamon rolls, and but their cinnamon rolls are huge.
Frosting and everything else?
Oh
in there?
yeah.
Like
So you are not the first person to ask.
I said
yeah,
the same
Tony was
thing,
like,
yeah.
"Are we gonna use the frosting?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna use the
All
frosting."
right, let's do it.
And it all goes in because that's just residual sugar.
Sure.
But what we'll probably have to do in the
There's so much butter in those.
well, yeah. So we'll probably have to do a tincture too of like vanilla bean or whatever, like, and add that in just to kick that flavor up. Because really in the mash, it's all just pulling out the sugar. You'll get some of the cinnamon, some of the like vanilla, but not enough to like carry through the entire beer. So
Yeah, I think the
you
best.
could use 100 cinnamon rolls, and you probably still wouldn't get as much as
I
you
think with
want.
100 we might.
All right, so let's change the order to 100
5
cinnamon
gallon
rolls.
batch, 100 cinnamon rolls. Well, I'm thinking that, since we're not really brewing this for anything other than just for ourselves, and since winter in Chicago is so long, whenever this is done, it'll be done. But having a big imperial stout and letting it finish fermenting and taste it along the way and figure out, oh, it might need more of this, needs more of this, we can kind of just add it as we go along. Clark, by the way, you're more than welcome to be a part of this brew if you'd like.
I'm in, unless I can't make it.
But
I would ask if I am there.
That's life.
Order 105 cinnamon rolls.
So we can eat
So
some?
5 of them can be eaten.
I agree. Yeah, actually, with the 12 cinnamon rolls, I kind of... There's 3 of us. If we're getting 12 cinnamon rolls, I think we need to get 15 so we can at least eat one while we're doing it. It'd be stupid
Got
otherwise.
to do quality control.
I agree. Let's move on to another beer, yeah? Well, it's dealer's choice. That's the new rule here. When there's a guest, the dealer chooses... The guest chooses...
I'd like to start with, I think, what was my first pumpkin beer. The Blue Moon. Which
yes.
is sort of a joke in the industry now, Blue Moon, if you will. But
it's not sort of...
we might as well.
Do we need a bottle
All
opener?
we need is an opener.
Wait, really?
Unless it's a twist.
Is it a twist?
Oh,
It is.
Ta-da!
It is. It is a twist off. Clark, you and I have a history with Blue Moon beers.
We do.
You and I, when we first started, we were working together. I don't remember what it was. You had a Blue Moon mix 12 pack, and I came over for something. Maybe it was like a brew day. You and I were brewing a beer, and I forget the one. Wow, Brandon went.
Horchata.
We were being more conservative,
Oh.
so we can all just
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Jeez, man. Brandon went with a big pour, just in case everybody wanted to know when I was judging him on that. Also,
eat the books.
Clark's peeing in everybody's cups. I forget the one that
The
you...
horchata.
No,
Right?
it wasn't the horchata. The first one that we had, the first one that you gave me, I'm like, this tastes like wet dog. I don't like
No,
this.
that was not Blue Moon. It was Blue Moon's what's the word for it?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
secondary, like Shiner or something?
No, not Shiner. They called it, but they did call it something else.
Awful.
It was, and it smelled like wet dog. It was not good. But we did come together on the Blue Moon Horchata, which is, I gotta say.
I don't think I've ever had this.
Really?
By the way, Blue Moon Horchata, when you see it, buy it. You won't regret it. It's a nice, light, flavorful horchata beer.
So what I was just looking at, I
really
wanted to see what it was. It's a pumpkin wheat. Mm-hmm. What it is?
Pumpkin wheat. I didn't even notice.
Which smells awesome. It smells like pumpkin spice, and I think wheat is, man, that just kind of just tastes like I'm drinking pumpkin spice tincture. Like, I don't really get anything else.
Well, honestly, that's
a lot of nutmeg and allspice.
Sort of what I want in a pumpkin beer. I want to be not necessarily hit in the face with everything, but I want to know that it's definitely pumpkin.
Yeah.
And the spices for pumpkin pie.
I'll tell you this: the second sip, though, it tastes more like beer. Like, it doesn't fade away, but it's like that first initial taste is kind of sweet and like, oh, holy cow! There's all those pumpkin pie spices, and then the second taste is like, oh, it's like beer.
Yeah.
And the lingering taste in my mouth is definitely allspice, clove, cinnamon. It's solid. I mean,
yeah, and I think
I have nothing. I'm gonna be honest. I have nothing against Blue Moon.
No. And I think my
Blue Moon's actually okay.
I haven't had Blue Moon in years.
Blue Moon's decent.
Regular.
Blue Moon is definitely decent, but my big thing was like, so I think now, like when I look at pumpkin beers, I try to eliminate the whole it's pumpkin spice type thing, but you get all that, and I think that's kind of the go-to with everybody is just fill it with the spice. So you got to wonder, like, is there actual pumpkin in there, or is it just the spice?
This is the conversation I've had with a few people and homebrewers when they're like, I want my pumpkin beer to have pumpkin in it. I don't understand that.
You don't understand wanting pumpkin in it?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it, but it's such a mess. And so you actually speak to this. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a mess and it's such a hassle. And that, like, tasting pumpkin just kind of tastes like nothing. I mean, there's a taste to it, but there's not a lot to it. So I'm just kind of wondering what's the actual point of having pumpkin in the beer?
I think it's just, at least for me, it's just knowing that actual pumpkin's in there. Other than that, probably not much. But I think my pumpkin beer that I've brewed a number of times is one of my best beers.
Your pumpkin beer is very good.
I think it's changed over the years a little bit. You know, I upped the spices just because that's what I like in a pumpkin beer.
Sure.
But I started putting pumpkin in the mash for my all grain recipes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. It's I started roasting the can. I get a couple cans of the pumpkin and I roast it with the spices in it, so that kind of pulls out some of the sugars and makes it a little bit more interesting. I don't know if it actually makes any damn difference when the beer's done, but I've really liked how it turned out. Mr. Rumpkin's Pumpkin Ale.
Find it on Untappd.
The X-rated version is called Mr. Rumpkin Gets a Blumpkin Pale Ale. Don't Google that.
Oh, Mark. You know what's funny? I was talking about, like, it's such a mess, and I've never actually used pumpkin. My thought is that it's such a mess in the mash.
I remember you telling me that before I used that, and I had no problems.
Okay. I think
maybe I don't use a ton, so it's just...
I think it's maybe something that I read, that it's just kind of like it clogs up your mash tun. It's kind of a pain in the ass, and...
I was worried about that.
I mean, it seems like it would be a pain in the ass.
Speaking of...
I get why they do just the spices, so...
For me, it was easy when I did both. I did my regular pumpkin ale, which was Any Questions, my David S. Pumpkins inspired beer, and then I did the what did I just...
You did a stout, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought I had a name for it. Oh, Pumpkin Slayer, the Doom Slayer version. When we did our Doom Slayer beer, which is not a Greenbush beer, we called it Doom Slayer based on the video game Doom, and we had a stout. And so what I did with that, with the pumpkin stout. Which actually I think the first one I just called like Jacko Stout or something like that. I was inspired by Southern Tier's Warlock. I'm also just going to point out how, Brandon, you've been so super sleuth about all the things that you're doing. Brandon's been moving around.
Well, that painting he just
the painting he just did was amazing.
Beautiful.
He's unplugging things. He's great.
Portage Theater.
Unplugging things. Brandon's probably the best producer ever. But anyways... So when I had Warlock, I was like, a pumpkin stout would be great, and all I did was just take the Doomslayer recipe and add, I think, I looked up how to spice, make a pumpkin spice beer. So I added the nutmeg, cinnamon, and allspice to it. I think the next time what I'd like to do, I almost thought about asking you guys tonight if we were to do it, was that we should have done the pumpkin spice Bourbon County.
French press?
Yeah, which we don't really need a French press, just pour a little bit in a glass,
right.
Mix it in there, and then top it off and just do that.
You have to be careful. I over-cinnamoned mine the other night, and that was a big mistake.
Now, not getting ahead of ourselves. Brandon, you saw my text message last night? My idea.
Yes, I did.
Brandon was just... After I gave him compliments for being such a great producer, he just looked off in the distance.
Nope, I saw it.
Yeah, so...
I did not.
We have an idea. You did not get the text. I have an idea. Brandon has an idea because we're going to Prop Day, which Clark, we're hoping you're ending up at Prop Day as well.
Fingers crossed.
Submitted a letter that we might. This isn't set in stone, but try and do 3 of this year's variants, French press or mix it before we go and have it on Prop Day and see how close we might get.
Is that like Poor Man's Prop?
Mm-hmm. Poor Man Prop Day.
Cool.
Which Poor Man Prop, we have yet to do the French press episode, which Eric, we said, I know Eric and Emil wanted to be on that. We wanted you on that, and I think we even said we should have Shalon on that as well.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of people who I think it would be fun to have on that episode, but I don't know if we could do it here at your house. I think we'd have to find a bigger space, and Brandon's making a face right now. He just opened up a very old pumpkin beer,
and that's a no.
Not going to serve it to us. Brandon, don't dump that because during the break, I need to try that. I don't even care how bad it is. Oh, whoa.
Come back.
Oh, boy. Put it down. It's very clear.
It's not deadly.
Tell the kids what you're drinking.
Oh, so this is a pumpkin smasher from Big Muddy Brewing out of Murfreesboro, Illinois.
Now, that beer is supposed to be a very good pumpkin beer.
Yeah, probably 10 years ago when it was brewed.
Is there a date on there?
Nobody knows.
Brandon's been holding on to this beer for quite some time.
Yeah, not for any particular reason. It's just the fact that it's been sitting in my cellar. But
the color is great from what I can see over here.
it's actually not as terrible as you would think a beer that old would be. Minus the dust falling off the bottle.
You get a text message.
Texting with somebody else.
But it does not taste like a pumpkin beer.
It's nice that our...
Just literally all of the flavors of pumpkin kind of go together.
The smell, I don't know. the smell, I don't know.
It's not good. It is not good. But it is not terrible.
No, I see where you went with your first reaction. At first you're going, But then you kind of... It smooths out and gets a little pumpkin-y in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but not great. It's like...
This tastes like a bad attempt at home-brewed pumpkin beer.
Yeah, again. So this is several years old.
Yes, and this is... I'm assuming that Pumpkin Smasher... like I said, I think I looked up pumpkin beers and top for 2019. I could be wrong, but I thought that this was actually on there because I believe they still make this.
I'm sure they do.
But you should not have aged this, Brandon. It does not taste good this.
I didn't intend to. I forgot about it, and it sat there forever.
Kids, as mentioned before, what I believe in is not aging beers unless it's Bourbon County or Revolution's Deepwood Series beers.
Oh, interesting.
What's up?
A quick note. I drank this in 2014.
What?
I'm not sure if it's the same year. I gave it a 2.5, which is
pretty low.
Bad for me. Pretty low.
Yeah, you're pretty generous. What'd you give Gatecrasher?
A 5.0.
Yeah, it's a good English
Best
IPA.
beer ever.
It is a really good beer.
6 years ago.
But yeah, I'm gonna not finish this one, to be honest. Put that over there.
It's rude.
Thanks for opening it, though. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you sharing.
No beer goes bad.
Yeah. Actually, that does. Where are we at in time right now, Brando? Probably not close to a break time, but I'm interested.
We're at about 12 minutes.
No,
30.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. You guys want to take a break?
I'm assuming Tony wants to take
You
a
guys
break.
run the show. You tell me what to do, and
I'm
I'll
just
do
throwing it
it.
out there so I know if you guys are interested in taking a break. We'll just stop for a little bit.
Whatever, man.
I've got some new music from somebody. Actually, I don't know. Next week, I know for sure who our music is. Actually, you know what? I do know the music. It's Fluid Minds. There's a Fluid Mind song that I think is perfect for this spooky Halloween theme. Producer Brandon is now... You know what? You're going to have a different name while you're a producer. What do you want? What name do you want?
Spinderella.
Tick Bigwell.
Producer Tick Bigwell is smashing his head against the soundboard because he wants me to wrap it up. Here's a Fluid Mind song. Thanks for listening. Happy Halloween.
Oh, you're assuming I'm pressing stop.
Well, I'll take another sip then of this crappy beer.
Is it better to be free or a slave? I still can't tell which choice I've made. It's like being sliced down the middle with a rusty blade. Following a trail of your own blood to an early grave. Keep on digging to find some sleep in the bed that I made. Boo, 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 Do we really choose, or is it captivity? Could we handle the shadows where eyes don't see? Thoughts pull a muscle, the weight is too heavy, yeah. Following a trail of your own blood to an early grave. Keep on digging to find some sleep in the bed that I've made. Do, 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 do. Following a trail of your own blood to an early grave. Keep on digging to find some sleep in the bed that I made.
What's his name?
Everything's fine.
Tick
Bigwell.
Tick Bigwell. Are we back? Producer is shaking his head yes. Tick Bigwell has poured us... Tick Bigwell has poured us shots, and nothing says.
I don't go by that name.
Tick Bigwell does. Brandon is here as well.
But yeah, so I poured some shots. A couple of shots of Buffalo Trace. So
I'm gonna. That's gonna be a good edit. Yeah, because nothing says Halloween like a shot of bourbon. Right?
Here.
Cheers, guys.
palate.
Cheers.
Yeah. Get ready. Excuse me. Jeez, man. For beer number 3. Which, again, no, it's still up to you. You're choosing it. You're here.
Well, do we want
Yeah,
to?
we already drink the shitty beer, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Should we continue on with the pumpkins to keep it in the same family?
actually, I think we should. Let's do the almond. I'm gonna call it for you. And I'm calling that because I picked out. While I was on the hunt today for pumpkin beers for this episode, as we said, a lot of places did not have pumpkin beers, but Clark was able to find some. Brandon had one that we just tried before the break, and now since we're going on the theme of, I almost poured it in the shot glass, of Halloween beers, I chose this one because it is Soul Man from Almond. It's a salted caramel brown ale. So I chose this as calling it a Halloween type beer, as it is, there's some candy involved.
Yeah.
It's a brown ale. Brown ales, at least here in the States of the United, come out around this time, the fall time, which a brown ale I feel like is perfect. And this is 7.2%. Man, you're just going crazy with those pours, man. I'm going to start
I
pouring.
didn't know what was going on. I figured it just killed the
You're doing great. Tick Bigwell. So, yeah, and this is from our friends at Almond. And Brandon, they actually are your friends at Almond. This is a 7.2% beer. Actually, Clark, you're reading the can. Why don't you read some of the good stuff?
Here we go. Soul Man, salted caramel brown ale. Coming into this world shot from a cannon full of super bad, Soul Man was born from the lavish half and of experimental Partaguile
Oh, hey, there we go.
brew. Does anyone know what that is?
Partaguile?
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about when you take all the first runnings from a beer,
Got it.
and you make a beer from that, and then the second runnings is less sugar, and so
Interesting.
it's a lighter beer.
In the same way that the words aren't nearly as important as how you sing them, handmade salted caramel adds the boogie oogie and the Marvin Gaye to our take on the classic American brown ale.
Yeah. So
I'm sold.
Yeah. So shout out to my guys, Nate, Jim, and Brad. I think they got some other folks there, Josh too. But
Ooh.
Nate, Jim, and Brad are my main go-tos. They're the ones that did the wedding beer.
Yes, as you can see here on the wall,
Yeah.
it says Almond Wenninger wedding beer. We had the opportunity to go there and brew this Brandon's wedding beer.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. That was a good day.
That was the one that ended up too strong or stronger?
Yes.
Because they-
It was
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
stronger.
Definitely strong, crazy hop presence. It was almost like, now looking back at it, it kind of reminds me of 120 minutes from Dogfish Head as far as the strength and
Yeah.
the
So
hoppiness.
the hopping. So what I think was the difference was, so I went there a couple of times through the whole brewing process, and mostly I was meeting up with Nate, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna aerate this beer." So what they would do is the kegs would sit, and they would just literally put in a line for CO2 and just aerate it, and just let it just spin and spin and spin, pull it out, and a couple days later, boom,
Get it
do
back
it
in
again, aerate and spin.
Yeah.
And so that hop flavor just got so prominent in there, and again. So I knew, replicating the original, Shaggy Tail that we had done was going to be a little bit different in there, but God, the hop profile was just so much more prominent.
It was intense.
Yeah.
It was good, but it did take us, we did not finish it at the wedding. A keg of it ended up at my house where we continued to drink it for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, we ended up with 2 extra kegs of
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We brought 15 gallons there, and I think we only went through 5.
Yeah, it was
And
a lot going on.
And it's funny because the wedding venue was like, "Oh yeah, you went through 2 of them," and we're like, "Okay." And I came back. I was like, "We'll give you the extras." I'm like, "Here you go." I was like, that second one is full.
Yeah.
Like, this one's full, and that one is full. So
You guys only went through one, liars. And then 3 days later, I had a pinch sciatic nerve. Let's focus on this beer real quick, though. This Soul Man is delicious. The first thing I tasted was caramel.
yes.
That's all. I mean, that was like, I don't really get saltiness at all. It's not a very big beer for it being 7.2. It doesn't, like, punch me in the face.
Yeah.
Like, this does not come off as a 7.2 beer. But it's definitely a fall beer. Like, even the smell of the beer is, like, I want to say, I always, like, I've said this, I think it's in the very first episode, I suck with descriptors for the most part. I'm trying to get better at that as we do a show that's about talking about beer. But there's almost like this molasses metal smell.
That's what I'm trying to come up with a way to describe what I'm
and it's not
smelling and tasting.
It's not metal in a bad way. It's not like oxidation. It's not like dog. But there's like a molasses, like brown sugar smell, and I think maybe just with that, the CO2, maybe the CO2 is where, is where maybe I get that, like, quote unquote metal thing. But I taste caramel. I don't get a lot of salt, but man, this is...
Yeah, if there's such a thing as toasted or toasty caramel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and then again, like, how much of caramel do you eat that is salted caramel or whatever?
Sure.
Like, but again, you would have to have a shit ton of salt in there to make it salted caramel. And again, like, I think that would just kill the beer.
Yeah, I think there's probably... Actually, that'd be a nice question to ask these guys one day, to have them on the podcast, about this, because I think I'm assuming there's probably some salt in there. I'm just not getting any of it.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have just, like, a little more. If there is some, I would like a little bit more, because if it's called salted caramel...
Well, the good question would be, like, how do you get the caramel in there?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
if they're doing that with straight up caramel, is it
crazy.
salted caramel or is it just regular caramel?
Sure.
And they're just calling it salted caramel?
I would think that there's no adjuncts in this, and that they're getting that carameliness from grains.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not a bad beer. This is awesome, actually.
No, it's really good, and I'm glad I saw it, because really, once I take a sip and I breathe out through the old nose holes, it's like I just finished having a Werther's.
Yeah.
A
little bit.
Like that caramel, like not as intense, but you can get the idea. It's kind of a hint of that. It's really good. I like that. I would definitely make this a fall Halloween beer. For sure. Good for all the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the intention, but it works.
Any idea when this was brewed, or what type? I mean, is this out now, or
yes, I believe it's out now. From what I was looking online, like people. Oh, I saw it being checked in as long as or as far back as September. So,
assuming not a summer beer. So
I would assume it's not.
Fall.
Yeah. The sticker on top did say 10/19 or 10/08/19. So I'm not sure if that was when they did it, because there's no print on the can or anything, but the orange sticker on top of the 6-pack holder did have a 10/9/19.
Yeah, but the stuff what they do, they're pretty, like, they brew it, they can it, and out the door it goes.
Yeah.
So
and to their credit, I don't really see old ailments sitting around. I always see, but I know they have like their regular releases, and I don't know why. I'm sorry, Elman. I should really make you guys more of an at-home beer that I have in my fridge, because I still have yet to have a beer that I don't like from them.
Yeah.
They had something else too. There was a fruited one that I didn't recognize. It was a purple can. All their cans are similar, but the art was purple. So I'm not sure what that was. Maybe like a blackberry IPA or something. Looks like Tiff.
Oh.
What's his name? Tick. Looks like Tick. Our producer, Tick Bigwell, is looking it up while Brandon is finishing.
They don't have a tap room, do they?
Not yet. I say not yet because I hope that one
is
day
it
they will.
coming soon?
No,
I know they've talked about it. So
their facility is super cool. It was a lot of fun to brew there.
Where are they located?
They are.
Nobody knows.
A secret location?
They're near. I know they're near. Was it near Milwaukee and Addison? Where that area
okay.
is.
Yeah, pretty much.
That general area.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that general.
It's like a. Second time I did this on this show.
Okay, we don't need to know all the details. It was just.
It's an industrial area where they're at. If you guys are looking for Elman. go knock on their door and say, I'd like to brew with you. And they will say, not today, Charlie.
You say Tony sent you, like I did when I went to the
Lake
Wind
Effect.
one. Lake Effect.
I did send you to Lake Effect there.
And,
So the purple can is Party Man.
ooh.
What is that?
Um,
Was it a berry IPA? Tell me.
the Party Man blends the bright flavors and aromas of Zinthos, Citra, Chinook, and Mandarina Bavaria hops with a healthy dose of Concord grapes
Grape.
into a sexy motherfucker worth of raising
Jesus
a glass
Christ.
to the new year.
Okay.
Oh, it's like
To the
they're in
new
the
year.
year beer.
Yeah, that is vulgar, though. Like, I am uncomfortable hearing all that. But that sounds delicious.
God damn it, Jim! Why'd you do this?
Concord grape. I'd be interested in how Concord grapes get used in a beer. Mike and I think talked about that way back when.
Back in my day.
It's also that's like a soundbite that's just inserted in every episode. Mike and I think one time talked about how could we add something like Concord grapes to a beer. I'm not sure. You just muddle it and get the juice.
I would assume so.
A lot of sugar going in there.
It's true. My glass is empty. Your glass is empty. Tig, what's his name?
Tick.
I will delete this.
You've been
episode.
working with him for years.
Not really. Our
Year.
this is what, episode 17 or 18?
Yeah.
We're almost
Yes, you
at-
asked the permission to delete this.
Yeah, Tig might do it.
Looking forward to
saying
the
Tig.
1 year anniversary episode.
1 year anniversary. Oh, he's gonna stop it.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Let's open up Ichabod. Right?
And with the big guy?
I think so.
Snap, snap.
Would you like to explain what this is?
I will. We are drinking Ichabod by New Holland Brewing.
Jeez, man.
Pumpkin ale made with real pumpkin, cinnamon, and nutmeg spices.
Oh, this actually has real pumpkin. I think the pumpkin smasher from 1999 also had had real pumpkin in it.
It was a malt beverage. The
This
pumpkin
is
smash.
what's the alcohol in this guy? I dropped it. Ooh, 4.5.
Hey.
Sorry, I went heavy on mine this time. Sorry, Brandon.
Fine.
Oh man, that smells really good. That smells like molasses and pumpkin spice.
Almost as if they roasted the pumpkin first as well.
Ooh, that's really. I just ate some peanuts, but that is. Ooh,
It's made with real pumpkin.
that's pretty good. I would say I like it more than the Blue Moon.
I'm not sure if I'm there yet. I think I'm with Blue Moon first. At the moment.
This has a lighter, crisper body than the
Definitely.
Blue Moon. But this is, I don't know, it's a little more refreshing. If you could imagine a pumpkin beer being refreshing.
So you'd call this your summertime pumpkin ale.
Sure. If I was going to have a pumpkin beer in August, this would be the one.
Cool.
So you hear that, New Holland? If you're out there releasing this beer in August, I'll buy it. But
They probably are. So
just stick to all the dragon milk variants that I drink all year long, because those are so good. Oh, sorry about that, guys. My phone just vibrated. I got a text from someone submitting us music.
Great.
Clark, when are you going to get your band up and running?
Which band is that? The one from the top of my dome? Mm-hmm. We're working on some new stuff.
I think we can have a Top of the Dome song on the...
Like a freestyle episode?
Yeah. I mean, I could
Where we freestyle our thoughts about the beer?
easily get a beat right now.
Okay, let's do it.
For a freestyle. Do you want to freestyle about the beer?
If we're all okay with it. I mean, you know how I can get.
Sure.
I'll be honest. I think a freestyle about...
I might hand it over to you as I get through.
Oh, no. This, I mean, I could try. Not like that. No. Hold on.
Oh,
Look at
like
that Ichabod. Hey, Lee, look at my bod. No?
Yeah, see.
Oh.
Let's see. Here we go. Pull this up here. This is going to be great. This is all about...
No, it's not.
No, it is. This is... do you want a trap beat or just a regular beat?
Both.
Oh, I'll give you the trap beat then.
We keep your number private.
That's an ad.
So we're moving on.
Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. All right, so this is going to be the freestyle about pumpkin beer from our musical guest from the top of the dome, a.k.a. Mark Deckridge.
Yeah.
This beat's called Nasty.
Here I am now, sitting at the bar, drinking pumpkin ales. Ooh, roar! Spooky Halloween show. This is the one. Look at you, Tony. I'd like to eat your hamburger bun. Oh, snap. That's all I got.
From the top of the dome.
Okay.
All right, sorry. That was pretty good. That was good. Brandon walked away for that entire ordeal.
I was forced to do that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was great. I think if I go back and make a highlight show for New Year's, which I'm planning on doing, this is featured.
I brought in the spooky, the Halloween, the everything, the hamburger bun.
Yeah. My hamburger bun in particular, which makes me uncomfortable, but, you know. It was Mark Deckridge.
Yeah, so if you totally got a headless horseman running around, that's the way to go.
That's the beer to drink and the rap to rhyme.
So you guys are on Ichabod as your number one stunner?
If out of the beers that we're drinking tonight, it's Soul Man.
That's what I mean.
I'm
saying, yeah.
Between the two pumpkin beers?
Between the two pumpkin beers so far.
Oh, yeah, this between the pumpkin beers, yes.
Yeah, Ichabod
Yeah,
is my...
it's getting back
my
to
wiener.
Back to the
Ichabod's my wiener. And I do like New Holland. New Holland's got some good beers. And that, like I said, I'm not shitting on Blue Moon here. Oh boy.
Oh.
Way to go, Clark. Please stop throwing cans around the studio.
Sorry.
I would say, you know, the Blue Moon varieties are pretty tasty. I had the mango one this year too that I thought was pretty good. I guess I like Blue Moon variants. I guess that's me. They should do a bourbon barrel age Blue Moon.
Should they?
Make it a barley.
Honestly,
They
what I
could.
wanted a little bit of the Soul Man barrel aged.
A barrel aged Soul Man? Is
Yeah.
that a thing?
No, I'm just saying.
I thought maybe
very good.
Yeah.
Even just a regular, not necessarily
Could be.
a wet barrel.
Just pour
You're
just,
fine.
just pour
Tell
some
them, hey, barrel aged this.
just pour some whiskey in the Soul Man, which is actually kind of what we did. Maybe that's why we liked it so much.
Good point.
Well, so here we are again at the end of the podcast,
Are we at the end?
thinking
though?
about what we want to drink next. Yeah,
we
we're
at-
close to, but
Where are we at right now?
well,
I'm gonna edit out
50 minutes.
that. I'm gonna edit out that big What is it?
50 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 39 minutes. I was like, that we drink 2 beers in 9 minutes. Amazing. Do you guys have any Halloween traditions that you do before we move on to this next beer? Gross.
Brandon.
You have any Halloween traditions from when you were a kid or now, or combined?
Like when I was a kid.
I went trick or treating.
Well, yeah,
Cool
but
story,
like no, like dude, it's like as soon as I got home left, dude, I would just dress up. Like I helped my mom dress up her house, and like I was the guy sitting out on the porch and just scaring kids all the time. Then we moved. Now I have a house,
Yeah.
and
Your house looks awesome out front, by the way.
we kind of got it dressed up. It's not as dressed up as I would want it to be.
No, it looks good. I like the eyes. I like the spider web and stuff.
No,
Your house
yeah.
always looks good.
It would be more. But anyways,
done giving out compliments.
I mean, well, I got a kid, so like, no, this year was a little less. But so I'll still do on Halloween. I'll have my smoke machine out there and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and just scare people as they come up the stairs. But I don't even know if that's going to happen because it's going to be fucking snowing or
Yeah.
something.
What about you, Clark?
Yeah, no real traditions besides trick or treating when I was a kid. But when I moved into the Irving Park neighborhood a few years ago, I didn't realize how fun people got with their houses.
Yeah.
Driving around going, oh my, I need to step up my game.
People get active.
So my plan every year is to wait until right about now when everything's half off, and I continue to add to my decorations.
That's smart.
I found a huge 6-foot Stay Puft marshmallow
What?
those inflatables half off a few years ago. That's prime stuff.
How much was that?
$50. It was it's like
Jesus.
$100 retail. I'm not spending $100 on that thing, but $50, sign me up.
I'd spend $50 on a safe.
Oh yeah, well worth it. I have added a Slimer inflatable to my Christmas list, my invisible Christmas list that I hope to get. And then use 11 months later after Christmas.
Yeah, I since we got the house, we have the party because we did for the housewarming. We decorate it. We keep it kind of simple out front. I don't necessarily do anything like that, but I rush home from work on Halloween to hand out candy. And I normally make chili, and I drink leftover beers from party day and beer that was on tap for Halloween. And this year, because we thought it was just going to be cold, I was going to get together with Jeff and Sue, my neighbors, and we were going to put a fire out front and sit around and hang out and have some drinks and hand out candy. But now that it's snowing, I think I'm just going to end up eating chili alone. Sad.
On the front step.
On the front step, yeah. Snow coming down on me because no kids will come
Offering
by.
bites to the children that show up.
Here, child, have some of Tony's chili. My chili doesn't have kidney beans. I use black beans. Okay. In case you guys were wondering, I put beans in my chili. When I was a kid, though, we'd go trick-or-treating, and when I'd come back from trick-or-treating, my mom would always make sloppy joes. A little fun fact.
That's delicious.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There'd be sloppy joes when we came back from trick-or-treating because it was easy to do. And it was delicious. What was that?
We'll be pouring some cider and rum 2 nights into our coffee cups as we walk the streets.
Are you inviting me over for that? Or
Come on over.
it's going to be snowing, man. I'm going to stay home.
Don't care.
I just said that.
You can be Santa Claus. Oh, you have to perform that later on this year.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Don't tell anybody that. All right, well, where do you guys stand on everything right now? There's, we can drink this now, or we can do what I like to call after the final pour. Let's open it now.
Opening it now. We've got Dead and Dead. Dead Guy Ale aged in Dead Guy whiskey barrels. That's interesting.
That's by Rogue.
Now, do they make whiskey? Do they?
They do.
They do. Okay.
And actually, I'm looking at the side there as you're holding it up. It's only 7.9%.
Interesting.
It's not very high.
Dead and Dead complements the flavor profile of our classic Dead Guy Ale with oak and vanilla notes from our whiskey barrels.
Nice.
We're getting malt, roast, oak, vanilla, and fruit. It pairs well with, should have had this served tonight, coconut shrimp,
Should have brought that.
Oh.
New York steak,
Should have brought that.
and chocolate souffle.
You should have brought all 3 of those things.
Next
when you bought
time.
Could have.
Next time.
I don't want to say anything. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but there might be some beer and food involved in a future podcast.
Coconut shrimp?
I don't know. I got to talk to the person that is slated to come on to the show. Maybe they will want to make coconut shrimp.
First pour goes to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing. You're the person who brought the most beers onto an episode.
Well, when I'm a
ever.
guest, I bring some beers.
Seriously, Stephanie brought beer. Who else brought beer? You hear those crickets?
If I'm going out to the public, the audio to the public, as they say, I want to
Get them.
be a good guest.
When you say public, I was thinking of Publix when I was living down in Georgia. I was like, you going to the Publix? It's a shout out to my southern friends.
Have you guys had Dead Guy regular in a while?
In a while, I would say it's been like a year or two.
I haven't had it probably in at least 10 years.
I've had Dead Guy this year because we talked about it on the podcast. We were talking about it on the Pale Ale podcast because you, Brandon, we were talking about how you went out and got Dead Guy, and we were confused that Dead Guy was a Pale Ale, and it's actually not. It is a Bock beer. But you got, I think it was you got one of those like mini.
Yeah.
Keg. It was the story of the mini keg. And then I bought it that following week because I was brewing, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm gonna do a pale ale." And I bought it, and I was like, "This is not a pale ale at all." As soon as I poured it, and I was like, "Either it's an old can." But yeah, I had it this year. What are your guys' impression of this?
Well, that's why I wish I had regular Dead Guy.
What are your guys' impression of this?
This is awesome.
This is, I gotta be honest, this tastes like iced tea with a shot of whiskey in it.
I am getting the iced tea.
Really?
I don't.
Yes.
Getting a lot of the fruit that they mention here on this lovely flavor profile stuff.
Yeah, the flavor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading this wrong.
Say it again.
Oh, maybe Rogue has these little flavor stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's heavily pointed towards vanilla.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Not so much fruit, but I'm getting some fruit.
Yeah, a little bit of fruit, but honestly, it tastes like iced tea with a shot of whiskey in it. Maybe
The iced tea thing I'm getting
Yeah. Now that you.
a lot.
but I feel like I get that from Rogue Dead Guy in general. That it kind of has a like, because it's a Bach beer, right? Is anybody?
Yeah.
I think so. It's gonna be great.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not getting much whiskey at all.
I gotta be honest. Thank you for buying it and bringing it.
Yeah.
Overall, that's kind of a disappointing beer.
Yeah,
I think I was kind of expecting a little bit more.
it's not bad.
No, not a bad
It's
beer.
just
Not a bad beer.
For what they're showing here on the label.
Don't throw those away.
And what it
God
says.
damn it.
I wanted a bit more, I don't want to say density to it, but some more, something
else.
more.
Yeah, a little more.
I mean, if somebody said this wasn't in a barrel, I would have said, yes, of course it wasn't.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really taste like a barrel-aged beer. It kind of just tastes like a Maibach. Was right? Is Maibach
Yeah.
was one of them? Which kind of reminds me of iced tea every time I have a Maibach. Or at least Rogue Dead Guy reminds me. Yeah, I shouldn't say every time I have a Maibach, but anytime I've had... The last time that I have had Rogue Dead Guy, it was kind of like an iced tea type flavor, and there was maybe like with this, a half a shot of whiskey in it, or like I had just taken a shot of whiskey, drank some water, and then said, "Oh, bartender, barkeep, let me have a Dead Guy," and that's what I was drinking. So I'm really downplaying the barrel age factor of this beer because I don't really get it.
Well,
And it was aged in whiskey barrels. I just don't really get it. I don't know how long it was aged in there. Maybe they... Hey, Rogue, maybe you should have left in there a little bit longer.
Hey-o.
Burn. That's what I just called you out on my podcast.
what's, maybe you smart beer guys can tell me. It's a 16 SAM? S-A-M? All right, it's SRMs, excuse me. Sorry.
16
Anything?
SRM. That's
Yeah.
very light color. Light color.
Right. Thank you.
You know, Clark, as a home brewer, you should know what SRM is.
Well, I don't use a hydrometer, so... Is that so shocking?
Tony dies.
SRM stands for Super Real Mood. And that's
Yeah,
what you get.
now
Like,
I remember.
Beers are like mood rings.
Now I remember SRM. I saw Sam and got excited. I thought it was some new beer term.
Ah, the old 16 Sam.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to start using that in our beers from now on. The Sam rating. This Sam rating is a 16. Hey, remember when we said we were going to do a beer rating system for the beers that we were trying?
We
Was
did.
that after the final pour though?
Yeah, we started one, though.
I know we didn't really follow through. We said it was 2 12s.
Although I keep thinking
It's really bad.
every time I
rating
sip
system.
this Dead and Dead, I want it to be pumpkin. I think even the color. I'm serious. I'm seeing the color.
Yeah, no,
bright
you're
orange, like
you're
the
right.
pumpkins we had already.
And I feel like maybe that's actually that has nothing to do with the. I was about to say, oh, maybe that's why I'm not like the beer. I will keep drinking this,
Sure.
because I know there's some left.
Yeah.
But I have no desire to go back to that pumpkin smasher at all, whatsoever.
She gone.
That's rude.
Burn it. Turn 'em and burn 'em, as Mark Dettridge likes to say.
He does.
But I will say this. I think that's it for Halloween. So you guys, you don't have to, guys and gals, ghouls and ghosts, as they would say. You don't have to like the beers that we drink, but I'm sure there's plenty of Halloween beers out there that everybody likes to drink around this time. Just remember to be safe on Halloween. And if you have kids, take them out and get tons of candy, and then you can raid their candy while they're sleeping. If anybody doesn't like Kit Kats, feel free to send them my way. Same thing with Twix. I'm a big fan of that. If I can make a Twix beer, I will.
Speaking
Brandon's
of Kit Kats,
Yeah.
my son got a pumpkin pie Kit Kat
What is
the
that?
other day.
Wait, what the hell does that
Should
mean?
have brought that to the tasting tonight.
Wait, what? You gotta explain what that is. What is that?
It's a Kit Kat. The wrapper says pumpkin pie or pumpkin pie.
Oh, the Kit Kat tastes like pumpkin pie?
Apparently, I didn't taste it. He hasn't either yet.
Well, he won't.
So that's part
gonna
of the
go-
next pumpkin tasting.
I'm gonna come with you to your house now.
Right now, we'll go.
Where to go?
Sneak out.
No, we're not gonna sneak out. We're just gonna leave. We're gonna sneak into your house.
fine. Got it.
Do that.
Sounds good.
But thank you everybody for listening. Happy Halloween. Have a safe and fun Halloween. Check for razor blades in your apples. And check for drugs in the candy bags. Because that's what people do these days.
Closing music is Mr. Ray's Do You Believe in Monsters?
You know, I probably
Is
could
it really?
You know what? I could probably pull that off. And I think it's going to be.
No.
Brandon?
Nope.
Brandon.
Nope.
I was going to say I love you.
I need more beer. Then I'll make a decision.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the 212 Roundtable. We'll see you next time, where we are going to discuss, and I can firmly say this because we decided it, pre-prop day. And we're looking forward to that. This is Goose Island's release of their
we'll figure it out.
We
and
know
hopefully
what it
we
is.
are doing pre-prop day.
We'll see if Clark gets in on the next episode of the 212 Roundtable.
I never get to talk. It's Tony. It's the ending, so it's all about him.
Rude. Is this how every podcast goes? You're just like,
No, but that's the
Pretty
best.
much. He's like, I'm trying to do his thing.
That's the best. That might be the best ending to an episode ever, though. Me going over the top and Brandon being like, it's always about you.
It is always about you. And what does Tony want? I don't want to do that the next podcast. Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't.
It's true.
Whatever. It's fine.
it's fine. Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I hope I didn't lead you astray.
I didn't thank you.
That's good.
We didn't thank you for being on the
I'll hit
episode.
stop
That's
now.
good. Oh,
Thank you, Clark, for being on the
the
episode.
secrets.
Music for this episode was provided by Fluid Minds. You can find all of their music at fluidmindsmusic.com, anywhere music is streaming like iTunes, Spotify, and the likes. Thank you for listening to another episode of the 212 Roundtable. We'll see you guys next time. And thank you, Clark, for coming on to the show again. Cheers.